Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here, and happy 2023 to you all. It actually feels unreal saying 2023. They really weren't lying when they said the older you get, the faster the years go. I cannot believe it's been a year since I recorded my 2022 once, and I have to say my manifestation powers were not as good in 2022 as they were in 2021. I feel like when I did my one in 2021, I got like a solid bunch of things that I wanted that year. 2022 was a bit of a flop for me. Don't get me wrong, we got a pack that kind of focused on teenagers, which is something personally that I really wanted to see. I didn't particularly want a school pack, and it was a little bit of a letdown just because of the restrictions really and the lack of crossplay compatibility. So I thought I would sit down with you all, I would focus on my wants for 2023, I would write them down and we would manifest them together. That is, if you even want the same things that I want. I've already reacted to all of yours though. Let me be selfish for a minute. It's New Year's Day, I'm gonna think about me. If you watched any of my videos like covering the Sim Summit or like after the Sim Summit, you will know that I basically have my heart set on a Generations pack coming sometime this year. We know we're getting 2 expansion packs. I am hoping that the dentures in the Sim Summit means that we'll be getting Elder gameplay, be it like an Elder game pack or be it a Generations. I basically want this theoretic Generations pack to focus on everyone but young adults, because we already know that young adults already have so much in the game. And don't get me wrong, I do feel like The Sims 4 has some like solid crossover between like hobbies that people can do, and things don't really seem tied to like one specific age. I'm talking like the going out, clubbing, and also like a lot of the clothes. Yes, I know clothes don't have an age, but I do feel like when they are creating these in mind, they have kind of like young adults. The tagline for my theoretic Sims 4 Generations is better realism for anyone but young adults. Honestly, I think toddlers are quite strong. I like the gameplay that we already have for toddlers. The only thing I would really want to see more for toddlers is like more themed clothing and also some like themed rooms for them. I feel like that aesthetic is kind of missing. I do think they could have a couple more objects, for example a xylophone. We don't have one of those, or maybe like a little drum kit. For children, again, I would really love to see more theming with kids, be it their clothes and also create a sim. I want to see more hobbies for children, so I really want like tree houses back where they can like hang out with their friends. I would love to see like comic book collections. I think lemonade stands would be adorable. Easy bake ovens, jigsaw puzzles, any sort of collection for kids as well. I really like void critters because they are a collection, and whilst they are a hobby, it kind of feels like you're finding a collection alongside it. And I know we got the little like My Sims like chibi dolls in Snowy Escape. I really like those as well. So I would really love to see a collection sort of hobby for children, but just like more hobbies in general. Speaking of Create a Sim, when it comes to kids, oh my word, I noticed when we got the first fit kit, we don't have a nice pair of like denim shorts. We have like super short shorts, like the long baggy skater sort of shorts, or even just like mid-thigh like denim shorts. We need more. Like we don't have a nice pair of denim shorts for kid Sims, and it's so ridiculous. I really want to see sleepovers back. I would love to see it so you could like sleep over in tents, which I know you can kind of do because you can invite like kids over and you can just send them to sleep in a tent. But I think like actually throwing a sleepover specifically would be really nice. I would want them to sleep in sleeping bags or tents. School discos, I know that they were like a massive thing. They don't even have to be active like high school years and prom. They could literally just be like a pop-up of just like your kid has gone to a school disco. This is like what happens. Like maybe they come home with like a bump on their head because they ran into someone, or they tried to slide under a table and they hit their head off the table. Maybe they come back like super energized because they drank all of the Panda Pops that were available to them. I think there's a lot that you could do with Kid Sims in The Sims 4. They are currently so underutilized. Give Kid Sims rights. And of course I can't talk about sleepovers and a event without bringing up my main want for The Sims 4, and that is being able to invite anyone that your family knows to an event. It should have come with My Wedding Stories. Why it didn't come with My Wedding Stories is beyond me. Let's be real, it probably would have broken that pack even more. It's 2023. The game has been out for almost 9 years now. We should be able to invite anyone that our family knows rather than the specific sim who's hosting the event. Teenagers, I will say I was quite happy with them in high school years. Yes, there was a lot of restriction. Yes, the cross-pack compatibility between parenthood was an absolute non-existent shite show. And I'm also really, really shocked that we didn't get cliques when it came to high school years, or cliques if you are American. I really, really wanted to see the return of them. I know they're not like everyone's favorite, but I feel like it's just more of a way to give your Sims like personality. I have a mod that kind of adds like artist collective or like floaters. I really enjoy that sort of storytelling, even if it doesn't have like much gameplay tied to it, although I would love it to have gameplay tied to it, kind of like in The Sims 3 University. I feel like a lot of people used it in Generations Let's Plays, but I think it came in Sims 3 University where you had like the rebels, the nerds, and the jocks, and then you could like throw different parties and you could do different things depending on what you were in. You kind of saw that when it came to the teen aspirations, but I would just like them to take that like a step further. Speaking of traits, I would absolutely love a rebellious trait. I think it's so fun. Speaking of being rebellious, I would like to be able to host teen rages. I would like for our parents to go away literally on holiday, but to a rabbit hole so that they just kind of didn't exist. And whilst you're away, your teens could throw like mad rages. Maybe people could like break family heirlooms, which I want family heirlooms when it comes to a Generations pack in The Sims 4. I would like teen parties to kind of tie into parenthood though. So if you do actually get discovered or like word gets back to your parents that you've thrown like a mad rager and invited loads of people around when you didn't have their permission, you could actually get grounded. I feel like high school years fully let me down on cross-pack compatibility, and yes, I am feeling salty about it. I would love to see a chemistry and attraction system in a Generations kind of expansion. I think it makes romancing a little bit harder. Again, we kind of got that with sexualities this year. I would just like to push it a little bit further. When it comes to adults, I would love to see like a midlife crisis. I know not everyone goes through one, but I think like spending like big bucks. I know we don't have cars, so they can't be like, oh, I want to wake up and buy a sports car, but I definitely feel like you could have like a midlife crisis where you say, want to quit your career. I know fears like kind of do that in a way, but they're not very good right now. I'm gonna try avoiding having one IRL, but in The Sims, I'm all for it. Let my Sims lives fall apart. I also think when it comes to like just familial relationships, sentiments absolutely still need a look at. I think you should have furious states. I think they should kind of work like memories, and I think you should be able to tag whether you want like a sentiment to stay or for like how long you want it to stay. I think that would definitely add some difficulty to the game. I miss Sims being furious. I miss the reactions. I've always said that sentiments need a look at. They already need a refresh, and I still stand by that. And when it comes to elders, there's a bunch of stuff that I would love to see. I would love to see sort of a community living where you have like a bunch of elders living in like an old people's home, and it's just kind of a community for them to like hang out if they don't want to live with their family, or maybe they don't have family but you don't want them like fully living alone. I know you could technically do this in your own gameplay if you wanted to, but I just think it would be nice to have it as like an official thing where maybe you don't have to control every elder on the lot. You just control the ones that you want to create, kind of like university dorms, I guess. And then maybe they have like activities, maybe they have like bingo nights, they have like cross-stitching nights, any hobby really that you have in the game, they could have a night dedicated for. And this is definitely what I mean when I say I think there's an overlap in The Sims 4 when it comes to like activities and what people wear when it comes to ages. I don't feel like there's too much of a restriction, which is really nice. But I think there's still some that could be dedicated elder gameplay. For example, retirement. I think being able to leave your career, but then also like continuing to get money, but having it as like an actual retirement period, like the game kind of promises prompts you. I know a lot of players again do this automatically when they get like the notification like, oh, it's so-and-so's like final days. But I think like actually enjoying your retirement and getting like a big payout from your job when you finally retire and getting like some gifts through your job to help your retirement would be really, really cute. Funerals I would quite like to see in the game. I don't really know how they would work. I don't want them to be active like my wedding stories, but I would like to see maybe even like getting together, which you could do again through like a party, but kind of like paying your respects like at someone's urn, like as a group gathering, toasting their life and things like that could be very, very cute. I want to see the return of canes and walking sticks. However, I don't only want them locked to elders. I think anyone should be able to use a cane or a walking stick. This kind of ties into the community living element because I did mention like bingo nights and stuff. Maybe you could have a community hall that hosts like elders only nights. I also feel like that could tie in with seasons, with like scouts. Maybe you could have like an active scouts meeting or something like that. And I know we kind of have community lots when it comes to eco lifestyle, but I think just having like a hall that could basically be used for the community for like different hobbies, events, things like that would be really, really cute. You could also do like an elder speed dating session, maybe for those people who have lost a loved one in their past and they're like, you know what, I'm ready to find like another person. Oh my god, stop. Now I really want elder speed dating. I think you could have inheritances. I loved the inheritance in Sims 3 Generations. I think wills would be really cool, so you could kind of like dictate like which specific items went to like which Sims that your Sim knows. And also family heirlooms. Again, this is something that players kind of do on their own, but I think like actually tagging something as a family heirloom and then like each generation you go through, the price like increases, and then you could maybe like auction it off and see how much money you get for it. I think it would be so sick. 2023 is the year we sponge off our relatives, okay? I talked about speed dating. I would also really, really love to see the return of online dating in The Sims 4, catfishes included. It was my favorite thing when you had a catfish in The Sims 3. Like they were using some other Sims profile. Like imagine someone using Daddy Feng's little icon and you're like, oh my god, like the Fengs? Definitely swingers. I'm gonna get in there. And then you turn up and it's like some randomly generated townie with like pink hair and a mustache and you're just like, you are not the person that I chose to go on a date with, but you know what? I'll see if you float my boat. I would love to be able to vlog for memories. The video camera was one of my favorite objects in The Sims 3 Generations. And it's not even like it's out of date nowadays. Like you could literally just have a digital camera that you could like plug into your TV. You don't need this animation, but then it would show like what you recorded in your game. And it would show like your toddlers having their first steps or like one of your kids like playing on a playground or like interacting with one of their best friends. I just think having some form of an actual thing to show your memories would be so, so cute, especially because we don't really have a good memory system in The Sims 4. I think having that physical edition is so sentimental. Which, speaking of 4 memories, I would also love to see a photos update. I thought we were getting this when we saw the My Wedding Stories trailer. I was like, wait, those photos in the My Wedding Stories trailer actually look like they're just screenshots that someone has then taken, made into a photo in the game and like put them up on the wall. I want to see that as an actual update in The Sims 4. So when you go into the tabbed camera mode, you can like freely move about. It's how a lot of people like take screenshots for thumbnails and things like that. We use them as memories as players, so why can we not then convert those screenshots that we've taken? Because we have a photo section in the game, which I do think needs updating because it currently works dreadfully. But if we got this implemented, I would expect that to be looked at, and then you could choose which screenshot you wanted as a photo, and then it would just spawn in the game like a photo, like they do already, that you could either have on like your mantelpiece, a shelf, or you could like stick it up on your walls. Yeah, I know it kind of eradicates like the photography skill, but if you still wanted to do it that way, you absolutely could. I just think having the freedom to allow players to do that without having to use photography, because not everyone always wants to like drag a camera around with them, and it's also really hard to set up. Also, the poses get kind of stale. I really, really want that as an update, and I also think it would be really cute if you could then put those photos in like a little photo album, again having that like physical reminder. One theme that I really noticed when I asked you lot what you wanted to see in The Sims 4 this year was more diverse world pool, and I can absolutely get behind this. I absolutely feel like we really need to start switching it up when it comes to the worlds in The Sims 4. I think we need more diversity. I think we need more representation. I think we just need to like cast the net wider. Got like the UK and sort of like a couple of European themed worlds, although I do think like Europe is so big. Other places in Europe could definitely come into the game more. I just don't want any more like American suburban worlds. I'm so over them. I think we need more African inspired worlds, Asian inspired worlds, Mediterranean inspired worlds. Like the world is so huge and there are so many gorgeous places. And I also think it's a way to offer representation when it comes to like hairstyles, create a sim assets such as clothing, and also just like townies. Also, I don't only want that representation in kits. I feel like that's such a running theme when it comes to kits is like, oh yeah, we're gonna offer you these really gorgeous like build assets, but then you're like, okay, yeah, like I have these really gorgeous build assets, but if I don't have a world where I feel like that theme fits, it's just gonna feel kind of like shoehorned in. Speaking of kits, eradicate them and bring back stuff packs. I really want to see a new stuff pack in 2023. I have a lot of themes that like bounce around in my head that I feel could maybe fit into a stuff pack, but of course the two that I constantly always go back to is like a fairground or an arcade pack. Like imagine like a classic fun house, a classic like hook-a-duck, and then also arcade. So you could have like slot machines, you could have pinball machines, and you could also get money back grabbers, for example, win prizes. I am an arcade kid. I grew up in arcades. Blackpool was basically my second home growing up, and therefore I want to see it in The Sims 4. Again, I was kind of disappointed when it came to high school years because we kind of got fun fair elements on the pier, but then we only got like 3. And also a car stuff pack. I think it could come with like an active mechanic career. I think it could come with a couple of fixer-upper cars. And I also think it could just come with like cars in general and like upgrades to your cars. I actually really think cars would work well in The Sims 4. And 2023 is the year that I am ready for them. I ask for them every year, but maybe this year will be the year. I'm not going to go on about the bigger packs because let's be real, I talk about bands and hobby packs whenever I get the opportunity to. I'm fairly sure I've made a video about both of them, which I will leave in the description down below in case you do want to see them. One thing I did notice though, whilst I've been playing my high school years family, because Celeste is super into music. She's very like musically gifted. Electric guitars don't sound different to acoustic guitars, and I know that's something so small, but I would really love them to change the sound design because it pisses me off. I also would love it if you could use guitars as decoration. So maybe if you like upgrade your guitar, you get like a slightly better one, but you don't want to throw away your old one because you're like, oh, I have all of these memories attached to them. You could just like click and drag like you can with photos, and you can just like drag it up onto your wall and use it as decoration. That would be great. I've spoke about this a little bit, but I really hope that in 2023, all of the packs that we get have better crossplay compatibility because as we all know, I am burnt by high school years. No, I haven't forgiven the team yet. I love them. I love you Sims team, but I would like to see cross-pack compatibility definitely take a step up in 2023, which is so sad because Werewolves, I feel, did a pretty good job. Like when it came to like Greg hating all occults and like vampires and werewolves kind of having beef between them. I think that was very nice. But I do think we consistently need that cross-pack compatibility, and I do feel like sometimes it slips under the radar. And then really quickly, I do want to see the return of community surveys. I know we've not really had a pack that we've like voted on recently. I say it all the time, like early 2020 and also 2019 was really fun because they were sending out these surveys like, hey, out of these like expansion packs, which like themes would interest you the most? And it has seemed as if they've looked at those community surveys and been like, okay, these are the packs that we're gonna kind of focus on. These are the aspects of the packs that people feel as if they would play with more. We got Snowy Escape out of those surveys, I feel. We obviously got Nifty Knitting from the big community voted pack. I feel like high school years also had elements of those surveys in them. And I know they might be like, okay, well, we're just working on the surveys that we did have. I just want to see more surveys surveys in general. And when it comes to community, I've talked about this like over on my live stream, like throughout the last year really. I feel like scenarios have kind of taken a backseat in 2022, which I didn't think I would like scenarios. I was like, why have they put time and energy into this when I'm not really gonna use them? I actually used scenarios a lot more than I thought I would, and they're actually extremely fun. I really like the story-based ones they introduced this year. I think it would be so sick if they let the community kind of create their own scenarios. People already do it anyway. There are already like community-driven challenges, people posting like rules and regulations of how you should play your game and like do specific challenges. I'm doing like the short Nightmare Legacy challenge at the minute. I think if that were like officially in the game, that would be so cool. And I do think that they may be testing the waters with that when it comes to Project Rene, because obviously we saw like the collaboration between two players. Someone was playing on mobile, another person seemed to be playing on desktop. And I do feel like recently they have been using The Sims 4 as a tester for what Project Rene could be. I genuinely think that's why they made The Sims 4 free to play, because they were like, is this a landscape that we could get into for Project Rene? And I think that would be a really cool way to see how players sort of like collaborate. I might just be saying this because I really, really love to see the Froggy scenario, and if the community could then create like more scenarios to do with collections in The Sims 4, I'm all for it. But there we have it. Those are all of my personal wants for The Sims 4. I know I didn't do like a pack-based one and an update-based one this year. Usually I do them as like separate videos, but I feel like because 2022 didn't include a lot of what I wanted to see in 2022, I was just gonna repeat the same things over and over again. So I kind of wanted to talk like more generically and like on a wider scale. I say it all the time, it's my favorite part of making these videos is the fact that you lot can get on board and be like, these are the things that I would love to see. These are the annoyances that I've noticed in my game like the past year. If they could change this or update it or make it better. I really love hearing it. So please feel free to leave all of them down below. If there's anything specifically that I talked about that you were like, damn, girlie, you hit the nail on the head, then please feel free to let me know. Let my head get bigger. I want a big old wrinkly brain in 2023, but I appreciate you all. Once again, Happy New Year. I hope we can manifest some good things for 2023. I appreciate you always, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.